Welcome to the Rockstars Hangout. I am super excited for tonight because we have a guest speaker, Shawn Michael, who is heading into that PL life as he is rocking the private label stuff. So I want to bring him on as a guest speaker. And before we move into that, I just want to say huge thank you to everybody who is making this group what it is, because we have just passed the 5,000 member mark today, which is incredible because I remember starting this group 5 months ago. We had three, I think it was 3 or 4 of us. I know Cameron, shout out to one of my admins, Cameron, he was one of the first ones in here. And we had like 3 or 4 of us that started this thing, just kind of sharing our journeys together, and it just grew like wow. So it's been awesome. So aside from that, I am going to hit mute on myself, pass this over to my guy, Shawn. Before we do that, caution, please do not, when we open it up for Q&A, please do not hound him with what are your numbers, what are your products, what are you selling. That's private information. Obviously, no top seller is going to share their specific products and sources. But if you have questions about private label in general, that is what he's here for, because he's been through the trenches and he can help share his insight. So aside from that, brother,
all right. Can we get people muted here? All right, there we go. All right, I'm assuming everybody can hear me okay? All right. Well, I guess my quick background, I've been in sales. Hold on. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mute my phone, my computer, so I can't hear anybody. And then I can talk, and you guys can deal with it. All right, there we go. All right, my quick backstory is I've been in sales forever, at 8 to 12, going door to door, hustling, selling Christmas cards and candy to all the people in the neighborhood. And I don't know, they probably thought I was doing it for like the Boy Scouts or something like that, but it was just purely driven profit. I don't have any college degree. I came from, it's that stupid story of where you come from nothing. And I really came from nothing. My mom was a single mom. It was just me and my sister and her. We, like, back in the day, like, you know how they talk about like government cheese? Well, we literally ate like government cheese and powdered milk. We didn't have like a real gallon of milk probably till I was like 7 years old or something like that. So it's either way. I left I went into sales, went through college, dropped out of college, did a little high school, dropped out of high school too, actually, before the college. And I started selling like insurance. So I got into that arena. Got married along the way, moved to a little small town in Wisconsin, had a couple kids, came back to Milwaukee, got divorced, went into financial services, became a financial advisor, started specializing in the retirement distribution and what have you. And then now eventually it came to this. How I came across this, I'm very entrepreneurial. So from the beginning of time, I've always tried to figure out like whatever talent that I had or whatever talent somebody I knew had, I would always try to like capitalize on it, and I've done some ridiculous stuff. I've written a book, and I've done stand-up comedy. I did that for a year because, people told me I was funny. So let's make something of it and get on stage and try to crack people up. And I did very well at it. And pretty much everything that I've done, I'll pat myself on the back on that, because pretty much everything I've done, I decided that if I was going to do it, I was going to do it and then be really good at it. So how Amazon and just online selling came to be was I had a buddy of mine. He's a partner with me in another business venture, totally unrelated to Amazon altogether. And he wanted me to buy some mold, this plastic ice mold or whatever. And so I did, he wanted a review for whatever reason. And it showed up in an Amazon box, a couple days later at my office. And I'm like, well, what the heck is this thing? And he was like, well, it's my, I'm selling on Amazon. But what I didn't understand is I didn't get how, he had a contract with Amazon, like this big conglomerate. And then this guy, my buddy Steve here, it confused the crap out of me. So as he was breaking it down to me, he was like, well, yeah, I give my product to Amazon, and then they go ahead and package it up to you and send it off to you. And that it blew my mind because previously, you know, I think everybody who's ever dabbled online at some point has like sold something on eBay and maybe tried making something of it or whatever. And I did. Like 10 years ago, I was selling women dresses and QVC liquidations and stuff like that on eBay. So I understood the concept of e-commerce for that most part. And I banked what he was doing in the back of my mind as just like another silly thing that he's done because he's like the kind of guy that's got like the idea of the week or whatever. And I didn't think anything of it. I just kept building my practice and kept developing and growing myself as a financial advisor. And about 6 months later, my girlfriend, that one, was a little upset at work. She stated some discontent at her place of employment. And, you know, me being the hero, you know, I gotta make this chick happy. I gotta do what I need to do. And it was her and a friend of hers. And I was like, why don't you guys get together once a week or what have you and just like have a powwow, go get some girl drinks and all or whatever the hell and just start building, you know, just each week by week, start molding things. Because I worked with a lot of business owners and I've built businesses myself. So it's anytime they would ever have a question like developing a business plan or whatever, I knew I could back them up. So while they were doing that, her frustration at work was still continuing to develop. And I brought this up to my buddy Steve again. I'm like, well, what, you know, tell me more about this Amazon thing and, you know, how we can get things rolling, you know, with that. And he started, you know, he just started explaining to me the process of FBA and all that other stuff, but it had nothing to do with private labeling at all. So our first day on the job, I guess you want to call it, we were in a Walmart and I see Barbie dolls for $19.97 on clearance or something like that. So we cleared the shelf. So I bought 70 of these things, sent them in and priced it at $35, some ridiculous price for a Barbie doll. But over that weekend, somebody had bought it. Somebody bought a Barbie doll for $35, and I'm like, that's a win. So for the next like 2 weeks, you know, I had the girls. I have twin daughters, they're 8 years old. So me and every time I pick them up from school, we'd go look at a Target and all that other stuff. And I was growing frustrated with that process because I enjoy what I did for a living. And if I was going to pursue a business entity that was going to rival in income, it had to be something that I would at least enjoy doing. So for me, and this is me personally, I felt like a schnook running up and down these aisles scanning products. I'm like, this is not a way that I want to build a business. There has to be, you know, like a better way of going about that. And so not to say that I distanced myself from Steve, but it was because at that point I felt like he was my mentor, but I felt like I was growing past him. I was already like, my mind was already taking me to the next level of how can I build this empire, you know? So that's when I went online. I never paid for any course. I didn't even know like YouTube videos on this topic existed, which is odd because I like in 2007, like 200 videos on YouTube just to write me and doing stupid crap. And I didn't know Facebook groups existed. I just saw these random blogs from people on like this thing called private labeling and what have you and how it worked. So I engaged on that immediately. And we were trying to figure out our first product. And our first product was an electronic device, you know, and we went ahead. And that's the thing, right? Everybody wants to know, you know, this is probably going to be one of the questions. I'll probably just answer it now. Like, how do you go about picking a product? In our particular instance, we were a little bit fortunate. We had a third partner at that time. She's no longer with the company anymore, but at that time, it was her job at her company actually to source product for her company. So they essentially did like private labeling, except for like McDonald's and Wells Fargo and just like these huge conglomerate companies with these little, you know, you go to like expo centers or exposition. What am I trying to say? Those expo centers or whatever, where everyone's giving all that tchotchke stuff away, like keychains and all that other stuff, you know. So we tasked her with the job of she takes care of that, and we'll take care of all the sales and marketing on Amazon, because she was an account executive, and me being in sales forever, that was our given strength. So she came up with a product. We put a name on it. We sourced out, you know, we don't know anything about like design or anything like that. Cause I looked at to see that other people were selling it. And instantly I was like, how can I do it better? You know, I wanted to put a better name on it. I wanted to have like good photography around it, you know. So I sourced out, came across the company, a local company called Roots, connected with those guys. They, you know, they were awesome, took pictures, did everything, put splash together logos, all that stuff, and boom, we had a product. And then we launched it. And let me scale back. We made significant mistakes in the beginning. One of them is you can't just go to China and give China money and everything's going to be cool. It just doesn't work that way. So our first order, I remember like it was like late at night, like 1 a.m, because China is like, obviously, you know, it's like lunchtime for them or whatever. And the guy sent the invoice and we're like hovering over our iPad, like the pay now button on PayPal for like $1,300. And so we clicked the damn button. And like weeks later, this product isn't getting here. And the reason being, after a month later, we find out that it was seized by customs because we couldn't validate. It was an electronic device that had Bluetooth technology on it, okay? And we couldn't validate that it was Bluetooth. So as a result of that, customs seized the whole thing and threatened to destroy it or have it set back. And we had to go through this entire process. I am not a lawyer at all. But I wasn't going, you know, talking to a lawyer. It's like $250 an hour to write these dumb letters and stuff like that. So I tasked myself, because I was fortunate enough to position myself at work to work from home. So for the last year, while we were digging the trenches and building this whole private label thing, I was already kind of working at home. So I had a little bit of an advantage. So that was real clutch on that. But I had to like piece together this legalese to combat U.S. Customs, and it took we just got that back. Like we just got that product back. Like we've been doing this we've been private labeling for probably about 9 months, and we just got it back like 2 months ago. So it was like in there for like 7 months. I think we placed that order 7 or 9 months, Becky. It was last April, so whatever. It took almost a damn year for us to get that original stuff, but along the way, we're going to continue to do that. So lesson 1 out of that is don't let adversity get you. You know, I know I get a little rough on people. Like I'm the litmus test of of who can handle this business or not, you know. And there's some people that like bog themselves down on $40 a month of a professional account. Imagine $1,200 of your hard-earned money is just seized by the government and you have no like recourse to do that. You know, how many people would quit or cry or anything in between, you know, to get that done? And for me, it was a challenge, and this was something that I still wanted to do. I wanted to master this empire. So it was just a hurdle that we needed to go through. So without even thinking about it, that next day we placed a subsequent order for the same amount of product. And this time our supplier was working with us to make sure that we had the proper documentation so I could put together with this legalese and get things going. Once it was on Amazon, you know, you go through this thing of, okay, now it's there. How do people buy this stuff? I think everybody has this like magical idea. I remember like 15 years ago, I was working with this lady, and she wanted me to help her build a website. She was a chef, right? So she's this chef, and there's this thing that Yahoo had called GeoCities, right? GeoCities. Everybody needed to be online, and you could like build a website. Super simple. So I put together this website for her, and a week later, she was complaining to me that nobody's going to her website because she was under the fallacy that, if you just go online, magically money will just fall into your lap. And that's now, I feel like that's becoming like Amazon now, where people are under the impression that, you know, Amazon's this big thing, you know, they sell $100 billion a year in sales, that if you just go and create some widget or put some widget out there, it's going to sell. And that's not the case. There's a market, but you still have to drive people, you know, to your given product. And so that was the next challenge that I needed to know how to do. And that's where I discovered like review groups and what have you. So then we gave some away. You know, I think we gave like 50 of them away, and people were reviewing them and blah, 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 blah. And then things started picking up. You know, we were only making like $1 or $2 off these units, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But then, like, you know, the holidays, Prime Day hit, and then I remember we sold like 18 of them. We were so excited. We're like, oh my God. Like, we were looking back at our numbers because Prime Day is going to come again in a couple months. So we were looking back at our numbers from last year. Like, how many units did we sell last Prime Day? 300, 250? Because that was our level of excitement. So when we looked at the actual numbers, the saw was like 18. We couldn't. It was just it was interesting to see how far we have grown in under a year at that particular point. We just went full time the other year. Right now we have six products with 2 more on the way. And things are going well. You know, I mean, we're in the midst of launching another, like a 4 right now. So it's premature to say how well things are going, but they're already selling and what have you. We do have partners. So we've opened up a second store with a partner. We're getting ready to open up. We're in talks of opening up another store with yet another person. So we'll have like 3 partners included. So 4 stores altogether here by the end of this quarter. And we're just leveraging their ideas and their skills with what we have as well to get things going. So I guess if I'm the guru of anything, it's more or less just the guru of like establishing these partners with people that I know personally. So it's not like this is not some, do not hit me up. I will not partner with somebody I'm just meeting online. These are people I truly know in my individual life from those I've networked with and what have you. So that's it. Well, we made a decision at the beginning of the year, and this is the second part of it. This is maybe now the third lesson here. The third lesson is, you know, I'm big. You know, call me an asshole, call me whatever you want, but like I'm extremely confident in the things that I say. I think I'm well thought in that. I can read people tremendously well. I believe in myself more so than probably anybody on the planet. And we talk things into existence. You know, we just like at the beginning of this year, we had like 2 products at that particular point. The sales weren't there for doing what we wanted to accomplish, but she was just getting tired of her job. My time was becoming more wrapped up in Amazon than it was with my own individual practice. So I made a decision at that point that, you know, at some point during this year, you know, maybe I'll go ahead and put in a notice. And we kept saying that. We kept like on that. And we did that once before. We did that like in September of last year, but it was like, maybe we'll get you out of your job by the end of the year. And it was kind of this iffy bull crap. You know, I mean, it was just, we weren't, it just wasn't solidly being talked about. So our actions have reflected that. But this time, whenever at the beginning of the year, it was just something different. So 2 weeks before April, she put in her notice. And that day, I'm like, you know what, the hell with it. You know, I'll put in my notice too, you know. So I put in my notice. My boss wouldn't let me quit, if you can imagine that. So then he wanted me to keep me on board just for another few months or what have you to work as a consultant to, you know, transition through this. And I just, my contract just ended with them last month, even though I was effectively not really doing anything here for the last 2 months. So it's interesting doing this PL lifestyle. It's afforded us a tremendous amount of time. That's probably the biggest thing. You know, with RA and OA, you're grinding. You're out there doing this continual grind. And that's something I have picked up OA just to fill my time. So I'm not knocking this by any means. But when you're doing a PL thing, it's essentially you're placing your order, you know, with China. You're waiting for it to get here. We do have a lot of things by sea now, so it takes like 30 days to get here. You're monitoring your sales, and then you're just slowly optimizing. So it's really like our big product. One product line alone, this will be the only number I'll talk about. One product line alone will net us $40,000 come the end of the year. That's just one product, because you know it's like an $8 margin on each one, and it just does pretty good. And it's just this boring, stupid ass product that you would have just never thought about, you know. So when you're thinking about whatever product it is that you're going to do, here's what I tell everybody: go get a piece of paper and get a pen, and off the top of your head, just write down every single thing that you can think of that you want to sell on Amazon. And then go talk to your significant other and have her do the same thing. Then call mom, call dad, call all your friends, and create this list of probably like 50 things or whatever. And then go put it on your refrigerator. Go get yourself a really big black marker. Go back to the refrigerator and write on it, shit I will not sell on Amazon. Because you're a consumer. There's nothing that you are constantly like. You think of McDonald's like 100 times a day, whether you even realize it or not. You think of Taco Bell. You think of all these different things. You think of Target, Home Depot, all of these things, because you're a consumer. From the day you were born, you were like taught like even my kids, I have 7-year-old kids, and they come up to me all the time, Daddy, 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 can I have the world's biggest gummy bear? Like, where are they even getting? They're being taught at such an early age to be a consumer. And we are, when you're in this PL life, right, you're not a consumer now. You're a producer. You want other people to consume. And so for us, that process literally changed the way I thought, So I was thinking of things that weren't the hot item. Go throughout your house right now. Like I'm looking at all that stuff behind Charles and everybody else's stuff, and all this crap. That just didn't magically come into my house like that. Somebody paid for that, whether I did or Becky did or somebody gave it to us. That was a product. I mean, like this coaster, right? People buy coasters. I promise you, I don't know who this company is. It's irrelevant, but I doubt that they put together a company, made this just for me. Like they didn't do that just for me. There's thousands, tens of thousands of people throughout this country that have this. So don't waste any more than 10 minutes trying to find the product, because the real question is how much money can I make if I sell this to you? If I'm going to make a dime, how many can I sell? If I'm going to make $1, how many can I sell? If I can make $5, what will you part with this for? And then that's how you figure it out. So a lot of people, they hit me up with these ideas. My number one question is how much profit margin is in it? Because you're going to have to, like, Amazon has like this pay-per-click advertising and you have to do reviews, and, we're getting into like Facebook marketing and all that stuff. So that costs money to run. And I'll be damned if I'm going to just put my own money into it. I'm going to let the product pay for itself. So I want to make sure that if I'm running any type of advertisement campaign, that if it's going to cost me, like if I sell this to you and I'm going to, it's going to make me $2 at a gross level, and advertisement is going to cost me $1 to have it to you, I want to make sure that when you buy it, you get a good product at the value that you have, but I'm still making money anyways. Because a lot of times people want to shortcut it. They want to take things that only can make themselves $5 or $4 or $3 per unit, even though it might be a hot seller. But when you come out of like the last 2 months, after holidays and stuff like that, people aren't thinking about spending. I mean, their kids are all getting into school and all that, are back to school after the holidays and all that other crap. It's just not a good time. Now again, with summer, things are starting to ramp up again, and then Prime Day, and it gets to be in there. So even for some of our products, we had to reduce our price to match the market. And if we didn't have a high enough margin already at that particular point, we would have been just sitting there with stale inventory or potentially losing money. And then I would be one of these sellers that are going to be like, hey guys, does anybody want a really good deal? I got all this inventory that's I will liquidate it, but everybody wants to come out here. I'm like, I'll buy it. What did you buy it for? I paid $1,800, but for you, let's call it $1,800. I'm like, no, man. Like, liquidation is liquidation. I'll buy it for you for $200 or forget about it, and move on, because once I've seen your product, I can just, if I really like it, I'll just compete against it and, call it a day from there. So that's where we are. Our goal, when you think about the numbers of this, is everybody always tries to have like the number one product. Everyone wants to be the best seller, or, everybody wants to, you see some guru sell a garlic press, and everybody wants to sell the damn garlic press, or, or whatever product is out there. And you want to sell like 50, 100 a day. Everybody teaches you all these keywords, and forget about all of that crap. Forget about all of it. All you need to sell is like 3 to 5 a day of an individual product. And that's it. And that sounds completely asinine, right? But if you think about it, it's a hell of a lot easier to sell 5 a day of a particular product than it is to have that particular product sell 100 a day. And I would rather have 20 products selling 5 a day than one product selling 100. Because if competition goes in with that one product, I'm screwed. But now I have 20 other products. So if one fails, I'm good to go. And maybe out of that 20 now, maybe I will accidentally somehow become that guy that has that big winner that then is selling like 100, 200 a day. And we don't worry about, all of our products are around that 20,000, 30,000. Some are even going down like that 60,000 range. And I like that wheelhouse because China ignores that. So I don't have to worry about like Chinese, like we call them hijackers, getting on our listings and all that stuff, and I have to beat them down. I'm just looking at going wide and developing that, and the money can add up quick. So if you take, say you had 10 products, 5 a day, or selling 10 a day at $5, that money adds up pretty quick. And when you compound that over 365 days, you're like a 6-figure guy, and then do that with 20 products that, figure out how you want it, like a $10 profit. You can make up the figures, and that's the fun part. You get to structure how it is that you want, because you get to pick and choose what it is that that you're dealing with. So that's my spiel, I guess. I'll get into some questions, and then I don't know. How do you want to do this, Charles? Let me read some of these questions. Type your questions. I like you people, but it would probably be easier for me than to for my computer on mute. Unless you can't chat, then we'll figure it out. Let me do the written questions here first. All right. So JC, what are the steps I take from start to finish? Okay. I'm talking about dealing with China. Okay. So I'll talk about. I'll stick with that one product that we were talking about. Okay. So this is literally how quick it was. We were mad at our partner because her one job was to come up with product ideas. And she would come to, and we would celebrate once a month. We'd go to do some big dinner. And be like, oh, look at us. Let's pay for this Italian dinner on the credit card and all that stuff. And she came up with it was on a napkin. She did no research whatsoever. So I got mad one night, and I was like, let me show you how easy it is to be able to do this. So I went online. Becky's sitting on the couch. I had the computer plugged up to the TV, so I'm like 3 inches in front of the TV, and I'm looking in the kitchen section. And I saw a product, and I was like, Becky, let's do that. You want to do this product? And she looks at it, and she's like, would people buy this? I don't know. And she's like, yeah, probably. So that was it. We picked our product. I'll talk about our guy. We have a guy in China that I love. But here's how quick that we made that decision. Literally, it probably took me like 20 minutes to just find that product. That night, then we were like, well, let's name it. So we came up with a name, and I didn't even want to feel like going back to roots because we made that decision so quick that I didn't want to create some elaborate logo for it. So I used a font-based logo for it, some swirly logo or whatever. I sent it off to our guy, and before you know, now it's like our #1 seller, and it's ridiculous. But how you find a guy, how you even communicate with China is me personally. I had originally went to Alibaba. Okay. I just liked Alibaba because Alibaba vets their own people. If you want to go sell on there, they have qualifications of how many years that they've been online. If Alibaba has went out and inspected them, and so everybody talks about Amazon. Alibaba dwarfs Amazon. Alibaba is the largest e-commerce site in the entire planet. I mean, it's ridiculous. How much volume that those guys move. So it's interesting to be that. So everybody's all scared about Amazon, and me and Becky are how do we start selling on? How do we own a Chinese factory and start selling on Alibaba? But so we came across our guy. We looked for companies that were 3 and above, because there's people that have 5, 10, 15, 20. So I felt 3 years is a pretty good, if you're in business, you at least know what the hell you're talking about at that point. And I talked to about 5 or 6. You can put out a query and you get hit up all the time. I get emails all the time, and I'm fluent in broken English at this point. Everybody calls me dear because they think that's how we communicate. We call each other dear all the time. No, we don't, but that's their perception of us. And so I narrowed in on a guy that had a price point that I liked, and he was communicating with me a little bit more frequently than some of the others, and he shot me at a price of I could talk pricing on the objects. It was he shot me a price of $6, and I'm like, no. I've seen this go around for $3, $4, what have you. So I took a screenshot of another communication I had with another seller and supplier over there, and I sent it to him. And I was like, well, this guy's telling me he can get it for this, and he's like, oh, so sorry. So he matched the price. But then I saw another guy, and this is what solidified it with me. I saw another guy that had another price at $3, and I sent that to him, and I'm like, well, what's the deal here? And because he knows those factories, he was like, I'm not going to sell that to you. Because he went on to some explanation about the technology of the product that's beyond me. I know money and finances. I don't know anything about electronics. But he wasn't comfortable selling me that because for him, it would have put him in a situation where he felt that he would have been doing me a disservice. So he actually gave me the phone number of that other manufacturer to call. And at that point, to me, that was trust. I'm like, that's a guy that, because that's the way I do business I did business with my own clients, that if there was a recommendation that I felt was best for them and they wanted it, I just wouldn't place the business with them if there was something that I felt was going to be disinterested, because I'm not going to, I need to sleep at the end of the day. I need to know that I did like good, in this world. So what happened now is we started grooming him for a different type of role. Because when we started getting away from electronics, because we just didn't want to deal with the return rates a little bit higher, because it's crap breaks, batteries wear out, what have you, FCC regulations. We figured like anything plastic is probably pretty safe. Rubber, plastic, things that just like wood. I mean, we can deal with stuff like this. So when he knew that was the avenue that we were taking, he offered to be our middleman for that. So instead of me going out looking for manufacturers, that's what he does now. So we tell him, hey, I'm not going to say this is my guy. This is my secret, my guy. So we say, hey, Joe, right? Hey, Joe, go look for this product, and we'll send him pictures. So what he does then is he'll go out and find them. And everybody anybody in PL will tell me that that's the stupid thing to do, because I'm not getting the best price, right? But he marks up like 10% or whatever, 7 to 10%. But when you're talking something's $1 and it's being marked up a dime, and I now have the trust of knowing that he saw the factory, he saw the quality. We have a stainless steel product that some of our competitors were being knocked because it turned out to not be really stainless steel. So they're getting like negative reviews. And I told him, I was like, you better make sure that is stainless steel, or we're walking, after all this time. So he's doing all these scratch tests, and he's doing all this heavy work for us to make sure that we're doing things the right way. So I recommend anybody to deal with the trader instead of dealing with the manufacturer themselves. Because if I want a glass and I say I want one of these, that guy's going to go out and he's going to look for the best for you. But if I only just talk to Coors Light and their glass, they're only going to sell me on Coors Light, and they're going to tell me how shitty Bud Light is, and and Spotted Cow or whatever the hell you guys drink in everybody's area. So I like him a lot better. And there's been times where we had product ideas that were sent to us. Oh, by the way, we don't pay up front for samples at all. He just willingly sends us the things that we want. Just for us to be able to take a look at it. He'll send videos, do all these things for us. So he's really working, heavily for us. So once we then acquire that, we'll take a look at the sample ourselves if it's something that really needs to. But some of them, you just know. I mean, he looked at it, he did whatever he needed to do for it, and he'll send it back. In terms of, I'll get to. I gotta not look at these questions because I want to get through this process, and then I'll go to the questions. So once we have the product, then we need to come up with the name. So we come up with the name. And this is important. I mean, this is probably this is important. When you're coming up with a name, nobody cares as much as you think they do. Take a drive through your town. Look at the names of businesses and the logos that are behind it. Like, what the hell is a Wells Fargo? What is Target? Like Pepperidge Farm? Like Einstein Brother? Like, these are like the most asinine names, and everybody always wants to come up with these like genius names or logos. I mean, go look at the logos. Look, like Wells Fargo is a horse, like a horse carriage or some crap. Like, what is that? Like what is a Happy Meal? Like, it's the stupidest crap. Golden Arches. So don't overthink it. Just don't be dumb with it. At least try to relate it somehow. I mean, they call it a Happy Meal because what are they trying to do? They want to make you happy. They're not going to call it like Ray's favorite meal. I mean, that's stupid. But you at least want to relate it more to the product that you have. So just don't spend time on it. Nobody cares about your store name either. Like, nobody cares. Nobody even knows you exist. That when they buy on Amazon, they're clicking the buy box. They don't care about your feedback. They don't care about anything. They care about the product. They care about the price. They care about the product reviews, and they want it the same day. That's their expectation of Amazon. You add this element that you somehow give a damn, and you really don't. You're just there to help Amazon make a little bit more money, and you should be grateful enough that they've given you this opportunity to like make a good living out of yourself. And that's my spiel on that. So stop spending time on the minutia of shit that ain't making you money. because it ain't your business name and none of that crap. It's the product and the pricing of it. So once we have that, we looked at our competition. Well, we do the price at the beginning. We want to make sure that we have enough money. We look for a 50% profit margin. So what that means is if I sell something for $15 after Amazon fees, after shipping, I need to make $7.50 on it. Okay, so after all of that, before marketing dollars, I need to make 50% profit margin. That's the only thing I care about. So I look to see what our height of our competition selling, and I look to see what the low of our competition selling, because that's the range that we might have to go as we go through this cycle throughout the year. We're definitely able to sell it at the high point, because I just believe that, you know, with our partners and what have you, we just kick ass at marketing, and Roots does phenomenal work, you know, and I don't, let's see you guys on PLs, probably nobody's using, but you'll know. So for that, you know, for that standpoint, I know that we can sell it high, but in dull moments, I need to make sure that if we do have to take a hit and a drop, that we're still really able to make money. So then we price it always at the height, you know, because again, some people, you know, I don't need to sell to everybody. You know, I want my clients to be at least like, clients, I'm thinking back to my prior career, my customers or what have you, I want them at least educated enough that they're making a good decision and they're spending something that they believe is of value, that they're not buying something that's just cheap from me. You know, they're not looking to get the crappiest thing in the world, you know, because those are the people that they want the cheapest, and then they're the first to complain. I'm like, well, what the hell did you expect? You bought some cheap ass thing, you know? So we want really reasonable quality with a high perceived value, I guess is probably the best way you know, to go about that. So once we have it, we don't try to take shortcuts, and some people want to get all fancy and have China send it directly to Amazon. We don't do that. We have it all come to us first, so we can inspect it, look at it, create then our shipping labels, and then send it off to Amazon. And then we do product reviews. I use top quality. What I'll do is all these people I'm talking about, I'll put links in the stuff for you guys to be able to use all these resources and all that stuff. How we get it to us is we use a freight forwarder. So we decide whether we need to do it by air or by sea. Sea is ridiculously cheap, but it takes forever to get here. Like, we've been waiting on this thing for like 30 some days, and 30 days in the world of Amazon is like an eternity. You know, it's like forever. So what we do is we usually send about like 20 to 25% by air, and then the rest we put on by boat, with the idea that, you know, as things are selling, then finally the other stuff gets in, and then we continue to replenish on a 60-day basis, just purely by boat. What else is in there? So, and that's it. And once you have it going, after the reviews and after pay-per-click advertising is up and running, I'm not going to talk about the specifics, because when it comes to pay-per-click advertising, if I shared it, it would destroy it altogether. So I can't do that. So you'll have to figure out your own way. And there's guys that will sell you a bunch of crap, and none of it all works a horse apiece. But you'll need to figure out your own way on how to do pay-per-click advertising. But, you know, and we've created, I guess, the best way to do anything with any of this crap is to just figure it out on your own. You know, like, figure it out, go make a mess, and then ask questions. You know, like, nobody's gonna like hold your hand through the entire process. Nobody's gonna do that, because it's my business. I'm gonna hold my own hand. I'm gonna lead my own way, and I don't mind helping people, because as much as the ass as people want to make me out to be, I'm probably one of the most helpful people on Facebook, and I do that more out of spite for like Amazing Seller and all these other guys that are like trying to just bait people with courses and all that. I do it more to spite people that you can get like a degree in this business for free at like zero cost. You know, like, I remember a month ago, 2 months ago, people were freaking out about like getting gated and all that other stuff. Everybody want to get ungated, and there's all these services. I'm like, why are you paying for this crap? Just do it yourself, you know? I don't know. So I made an offer on Master Group or whatever to like, I'll help anybody to get ungated, like no cost. And I did that like after an argument I had with this chick, right? And then my inbox to this day has not been under like 300 messages, so I have not gotten through everybody yet, but I will. Every day I get on there and talk to somebody, and I get, you know, there you go, I get I help people to get ungated. And it's not that I do it fraudulently. I just walk them through the process and just explain to them how, you know, how it works and what you need to do, you know, and really what have you. Okay, so once things are up and running on Amazon, then that's it. You're done. You just, if it's selling 3 to 5 a day, or maybe it's selling 20, you just move on to the next product. You want to create a top 10 list for yourself. These are the top 10 products that I'm going to be going after. And then so when you're done with one, you go and you vet the other one and you get through it. And when you lose it, you pick up another one. The last product that we just launched, I mean, you can find, you'll unlock your mind. You know, the last one that we just, the one before last, that we launched, we were at a restaurant in Minneapolis for like a birthday and some corporate crap that I was at, and we saw a product on a table that we were at, and literally I was like 6 drinks in, she had like 5 martinis in, so we're like already like feeling a little woozy, and we're like at the time, this is the most awesome thing in the world, and it's awesome. But so we take a picture of it, and all within an hour. We sent it off to our partner. We sent it off to our guy in China. He had already came up with me with prices. The next day we already had like the name that we sent everything off to Roots to get everything priced out. And we are right now in the midst of that launch where the reviews are the giveaway is going on like currently right now. So for a time frame of when you first think of an idea to when it actually starts going is about a 60-day window of time. So that's why you can't waste time thinking about what your stupid store name is going to be, because when I start getting paid, when people give me money because of my store name, that's when I'll care. When I can like pay my car note, you know, my lease with a review, then I'll care about like reviews and feedback and all that stuff. But none of that really matters. So you find your next product, you launch your next product, and then you just keep repeating that cycle. Using your back office, you don't need these fancy tools. I know with RA, you probably need to get like inventory labs and stuff like that. But with PL, you don't need anything. The only software, it's not even software. What do we buy? We don't buy anything anymore. Because for a while we did like Jungle Scout and all this stupid crap, and none of it worked. You know, because it's just at the end of the day, it just confuses the crap out of you. You know, there's a company called AMZ Suite that actually for everybody this is good. And what they do is that they automatically go through your like your returns and all that stuff, and they'll find like stuff that hasn't been reimbursed to you, feedback that you shouldn't have received, and a damaged inventory. And if Amazon hasn't like removed those or gave you money for it, they'll do it for you. And it's a pay-as-you-go program. So I think I gave these guys maybe 20, 25 bucks or something like that. And I've received like $800 that I had no, like that would have been something I would have not, Amazon would have just had my $800, you know, I mean, Bezos would have just been eating that would have been like 2 minutes of Jeff Bezos' life, I guess, you know. But but that's it. It was just kind of neat that they just found some money. That's probably the only thing I pay for. We don't solicit for feedback. You know, we do Feedback Genius at a free level. Oh, I do Joe Lister. Joe Lister will automatically launch anything that you have on Amazon. It will sync to eBay. And that's nice because then also we'll get like sales. Like we probably get like average about a sale a day now just from eBay on some of our more higher ticket things. So it kind of justifies that $30 cost, altogether. Now that we're diving into OA, it's going to be a little bit. We'll probably stick with using Joe Lister, but that's it. So our expense outside of Amazon is like $20, $30, maybe 40 like tops. Which is nice because our overhead is fairly inexpensive. We do have a staff assistant that just does whatever we want her to do. But it's not fair to say that because we have other businesses, so she does help us with other businesses as well as Amazon. But she pretty much automates my pay-per-click advertising, lets us know when inventory is low and all that other stuff. And if you want to read a good book, read The 4-Hour Work Week. It's a book by Tim Ferriss. I swear to God, other than the Bible, that book has had the most profound impact in my life ever. Like I came into that book thinking I was just going to learn how to be more time efficient because I was running a very huge practice and what have you. And like when I got to the end of that book, I'm like that transformed my life. As a matter of fact, and that was 18 months ago, mind you. So a year and a half later, we're living the 4-hour work week. you know, and now when we have partners, when we partner with people, that's like our prerequisite. We're like, you have to read this book and be on the same page with us or forget about it, you know, because we like now, like when you don't have to like pull a job anymore, we want to travel. We want to see the world. We just got back from like this kick-ass vacation. If anybody's like my Facebook friend, you know, like I'll be more than happy to show off that type of lifestyle, you know. So we're taking pictures everywhere. And it was just this awesome, like all-inclusive trip that we're going back to again. We're going to Tennessee this year. I think we're going back to Florida. I got to, you know, and then next year we're going to Ireland. So we want to travel every 12 weeks at a minimum and see the world. You know, my mom retired at 62 after working for a company for 37 years or some crap like that, which blows my mind that somebody can walk into a building for 30. I would like burn the building down after like year 8. I'm like, this ain't like, I'm tired of looking at you people, you know, at some point, you know. But she got out early and she got to travel. My mom in the last like 12 months has been on every single continent, including Antarctica, this last year. And that to me, that's just awesome. And when I found out how like affordable it actually was to travel, that just made it more interesting to us. So right now we want to get this relaxation, wine and dine thing out of the way. So we'll probably do that for the next 2 years. But then after that, you know, then we'll, you know, probably take the, you know, let's walk where Jesus walked or something like that. Or, you know, do like, let's hike through a mountain or get chased, stalked by like a barracuda or whatever the hell people do for, you know, ridiculous shit. It gives you back, like you get back your life. You know, like my perspective on everything has so significantly changed now that everything that I do now is truly like for me, like nobody can tell me what I'm worth. Like nobody is going to define that for me. Nobody's can tell me what I can and can't do. And I don't have to live for the weekend anymore. If it wasn't for the fact, because I have split custody with my kids, if it wasn't for the fact, I wouldn't even know like what day of the week it is, you know, but I have to stay on that schedule. So like for me, like we're doing like the numbers and it's like, we're going to live additional lifetimes, you know, cause like if everybody's living for the weekend and every day is like another Saturday for us, and I'm only 37, you know, so by the time I get to 65, I would have lived like 3 lifetimes. So if I die at 50, cool. You know, I'm cool with it because I've lived, you know, and that's, you know, you always see on my Facebook, like hashtag, like live your life, you know, because it's, you guys got to, I mean, if there's anything and anything, and I think Charles is kind of, you know, behind this in terms of like your mindset, you got to get the hell out of your own way. You know, I mean, everybody just like, I'm not like this big motivational speaker or anything. I come up with like inspirational bullshit every now and again, but like you got to stop settling. You got to stop. Like I swear to God, I'm not like special. Like all I've done was like read a bunch of books that told me to believe in me, and after like the 300th book, I'm like, well, maybe I should start believing in myself, and like maybe I should start telling myself that this is what I get, and stop worrying about like what other people like. You see how I am. Like, do you think I give a damn what you think about me? Like I know me. I give a damn what she thinks about me. People in my life that I love, that I work for, those are the only people that are ever going to tell me about me, and that's it. So okay, so Q&A. Let me get back to that. Jim, product photos. I go through a company called Roots. They have like models and all this other crap, and they do they pride themselves on this concept of like lifestyle. It's like lifestyle images or what have you. So instead of just like having like taking a picture and like you know like you know like stupid crap, you know like how many different angles you can have of this, they'll put together a scene. And, you know, if they need a model or not or whatever, they'll put together a scene and incorporate like this coaster. And this is not a product, but go, you know what? Sell. I bet you can make money selling this. But they'll incorporate this in different scenes. Maybe it's at a bar. Maybe it's at a dining room table. They'll do that. So people like, and I believe that puts me at a competitive edge. And they do it way better than the rest. Like, it's not like this Photoshop crap. You know, they do a really good job with that. And so I think that because of that, I have a chance to like win out my competition. And that's why like, even over the last holidays, what we were selling our products for like 25 to 50% higher than the top sellers They were obviously outselling us with their volume, but we were outselling them on price point just because I felt that we had a better brand. Are you worried about people stealing your product from product review sites? No, I'm not. Because good luck to you. I'm not going to openly tell people what my products are, but if somebody figured it out, you're going to have to compete against me. And God bless, you're in for some shit if you want to try to run up against me and my brand, because I just really believe that I do a really good deal with that. Where did you find your freight forwarder? My freight forwarder actually went. There's two people in my life that I've just known. One is I have a lawyer that works for Sushi, and which is good because I work for Sushi. So if I need a non-disclosure agreement or whatever like that, she'll just put things together. Or if we have to do a very basic patent search or something like that, she'll help me out with that, at no cost. But my freight forwarder was a girl that I went to high school with. That years later, I'm like, oh yes, like Stacy, she works for a company that does this crap. Because I didn't know nothing about nothing. I still don't know anything about it. I don't know how to design crap. I don't know how to make logos. I have zero idea how to manufacture something, and I have no idea how this customs process works. I don't know shit. So I just pay people to do this all for me. So my idea, I'm just the idea guy. Here's the product, here's the name, and all of you people, here's money. Just go do the rest of it, and then that's what they do. So M.E.Day is the company. And here's why, other than Stacy, great. But just because I knew her, didn't mean I'm just going to give her my business, because this is a chick that I knew 20 years ago. So what value? There's no validity in this, But what I liked about them is I told them that, because there were other companies that talked down to me. Like this one company was she said CBP, and I'm like, well, what's that? And she's like, well, if you're going to be importing things, you're going to need to know about that. And I'm like, well, fuck this bitch. So I went to M.E.Day, and I'm like, hey, I don't know shit about shit. You guys are going to have to just, I don't want to know. Don't ask me questions. Talk to my supplier and just go. And they were totally cool with everything. So that's why I like them. Ungated, great. How many do you normally, how do you normally start with it? Be the best price, but you don't. When we go, I don't know if I'm reading your question the right way. In terms of how many we buy, when I know that we have a good product, we don't mess around. We just buy 1,000. That's our minimum standard order. So we don't have to deal with pricing. We know, we already have it all pre-figured out. I already know what my target is. So I tell him a lot of times I need this price to be at this, and he'll let me know then if he can. So if he's lucky, if I say I need it at $2 and he can somehow figure it out on his own to get it for $1 at the quality I want, then good. Then he just made himself a lot of money. We made a lot of money, and I'm happy. So I don't have to worry about I don't do the whole dickering around with China, because you'll go nuts trying to figure out how to negotiate something. Just know what your price is. You tell them that, and if you can't get it, then move on to the next product, because that one product that you think you love, it don't matter. There's a million other products that are out there. Life is a clutch. Okay, great. Photo company, Eduardo, Roots. Yeah, I'll put all that. It's Roots, R-U-T. They have a Facebook page. Whatever. I'll put the links when we're done here. Do you try and stick to products that have a few moving parts? No. Austin, I don't like this stuff like this. I love. It's just very simple. You can't break it. If rubber, plastic, wood. Anything that can we have a less than 2% return rate, and the only reason that we even have return rates is because that's 2% of the population is just stupid as shit, and that's the reviews that we get. We have a product that helps people do a certain task, but they're it's almost like they expected. What did they think it was just going to do it themselves? You actually have to touch it to make it work. It's like buying a doorknob and putting it on the door and well, why doesn't the door open? I'm like, so 2% of people are just retarded out there, and they'll return the crap and what have you. So no, I try to stick with very easy, simple things. Our price points, we like to stay with an impulse decision, because nobody is coming on Amazon to buy your crap at all. They don't know who you are. They know nothing. They want to get something reasonable and at a really good price point. And one thing Amazon has done a really good job of is just totally destroyed brand names. I legit compete against brands, and people on Amazon, they just don't care, they just want a good product at a good value, at a good price, and they want it like today, So yeah, what's your biggest regret or mistake so far? Biggest regret that we made is we let our supplier pick a product for us, because we're like, great, we're gonna let him do the work, and he picked a product that's, think in terms, it's not that, but think in terms of like a garlic press, like, right, like think of the one thing that is just the most ridiculous thing out there, and it's selling, but it's just a very slow sell. So we're not going to do that anymore. We vet the products ourselves. So that's probably the one big. I can't call it a regret because I learned from it. So it's like, if I learn from something, I'm not going to dwell on it. What's our preferred payment method? Now it's wire transfers, because we're getting to the point where if initially we were doing PayPal. And there's a 4% fee to do that for internationally, so we would cover that costs for them. But now that our order sizes are getting so large that it just doesn't make, wire transfer is the way to go. It's scarier because you're essentially like, it's just glorified Western Union. You're just handing over money with like zero recourse. So you want to make sure you have like an established relationship with them. So I would still, if you're starting a relationship with anybody over there, do PayPal, because then you at least have, if you run into some issue, you have some type of financial recourse to get your money back. Because then you can also pay. Gotta keep burping. You can pay through like your credit card too. So then you have two backups. Because there was a store in Vietnam that we were buying like $1,200 worth of crap from, and the guy never came good with it. So I opened up a case with PayPal as well as with American Express, and like we got our money back like in 2 days. And if that was like the case with the wire transfer, do you think Wells Fargo? That's on us, that's on us at that point. How many products are you currently selling? We have 6 private labels. We're getting, I think, 1 or 2 more. We're getting ready to open up 2 more stores. So whatever we're gonna do there. But I just got into OA, so our SKUs are a lot more now because we're doing all kinds of stupid crap online now. Any other questions? Probably I talked a bunch, so I probably answered a lot of crap. Everybody's got a question. Everybody's afraid I'm going to tell them they're stupid or something like that. No, I'm not going to share any answers. And why, Dustin? It's primarily. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Awesome. We'll talk about UPC codes. I'm not going to share anything I do on OA. Reason being is even though there's a bazillion products out there, if you figure out any one thing and somebody else does it as well, it narrows it down. Like there's people that buy like OA lists, and that's just stupid because now like it's just why the hell, like I don't know, I don't get people sometimes. Like I'm willing to help anybody, but at some point you got to figure crap out for yourself, so I'll help you to that extent, right? But everybody wants to take a shortcut. So there's people out there that like will create a tool that will help you like filter out OA, right? There's people that do that. They're like, here's 30 stores, we'll help you find the product. Sweet. If I develop that, I ain't telling none of you people. Nobody is going to know because that's the golden calf. Like it's just not going to happen. So now you have like 1,000 people that are on this product, and now everybody's bitching and moaning like a month later as to why they're not making any money on it because you're all looking at the same deals. So I can't. So for me, we just started OA like a month ago, and it was only because I don't know if you guys know who Brett Kyle is. But Brett Kyle, he got in a car accident a while ago. I'm not going to share. He's got his own story, but he had no choice but to transition over to OA. And in a month, in the month of January, he did like $50,000 in sales, just online arbitrage, making like a 20 to 30% profit on that. So he made like 10 to 20 grand on that. And then month 2, he did it again, and that's what got my attention. So I had a little conversation with him. He didn't tell me shit. But all I needed to know was that he could do it. So I spent that day doing it, and I did it. And now we're averaging there's like $1,000 worth of crap just sitting in that corner over there, getting ready to go out tomorrow. And that's profit, not. So I'm killing this OA thing. But either way, okay. I'm in the military. Army, requires security clearance. You have a recommended way to do PL. What the hell, Barton? What do you mean? Talk to me. What do you mean by that? You require. Are you outside of the U.S. or something? If you're outside of the U.S.,
I'm in the U.S.
You can establish with any type of RA people know this stuff. We have what are those dudes called? What do you call it? Prep companies? You can work with a prep company where you can use their address as your business address, have all your PL stuff go to them, and then from there, have them send it off to Amazon. Have you done brand registry? No, we haven't. The reason being that we haven't done that is because we're not number one on anything, and we don't need to be or want to be. So like brand registry just gives you a little bit more like pull. Like people think that somehow like restricts other people from selling your product. That is not the case. All brand registry does is allow you an opportunity to create your listing and change it more. Because like right now, you guys probably know this. If you see like some butt ass picture on like Amazon and you're trying to like sell your toy, and you're like, I can do a better picture, or descriptions or keywords that you want to add because you went 100 deep on something, you have to go through Amazon on that. But if you're brand registered, you don't. You just do it on your own. But like I'm not going to sit here. I plan on having like 200 products on Amazon, so there's no way I'm going to make like. I'm just not going to do I don't care. I just don't care to do it. How much did I start with? I started with, that's a very good question. That's a very good question, Steve. You should probably look at about $2,000 to really give yourself a good start at this. Because if you don't, you can get in cheap. You're just going to run it. You're not going to get the product at a good price. And you're just going to end up being like all these other people that have like a million products out there that they're not making any money. See, so use OA and RA, and for us, we took out a loan. We took out a business credit card for $5,000, and we haven't put a penny of our own money into this business. And now we have like 70 grand altogether in credit and all that other crap. And it's just that's what I would do. So I'll tell you to get a credit card and just get a business loan or something like that, or use family or friends or somebody, just scrape it together. But you gotta have a plan of action, because you can it's like anything else. You can you could with RA, you could really goof RA up if you do the wrong thing, if you don't figure it out right. Thinking, so with PL you could make a lot of mistakes too. So you always have to get your shit together real good before you start using other people's money, and then you lose that. Then now you're an ass. Can you touch base on packaging for PL? Okay, that's good. My supplier bags and tags everything. So I'm not putting I think one time we did that, and after putting on 2,000 labels, we're done with this shit. I'm not doing $10 an hour work. I mean, that's not what we want to do. So I just asked. I asked them hey, can you guys can you guys put the label on? And he said, sure. and then I was then we needed something polybagged. I was hey, can you polybag? And he, sure. So I don't even pay extra for it. They just polybag it and tag it. And if we need a box, I asked him for the box design. So he'll send me the template, and then I'll send that off to Roots, and then they'll work their magic, send it back to me, send it to my supplier, and then he'll bag it. And all that other stuff. And, if something's a little fragile, I'll make sure that he puts a bubble wrap. So all I want to do is when I get that stuff sent to me, I just want to make sure that it's okay. And then we'll break it down and repackage it and send it off. And that's probably the only manual labor work I do with private labeling is that. And that's all done. That can all be done in 2 hours. So in my mind, that's justifiable, because if we have an order, if you guys remember a month ago, I posted that $28,000 of just crap that was in my living room. That took me 5 hours to, no, not even. What was that? 4? It was 4 hours. Let's call it 4 hours. So if you think about that, right? So if you think 4 hours, probably took me an hour to come up with the product and blah, 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 blah. Another hour. So maybe 6 hours tops. And you divide that by $28,000. Talk about making the work most of your time per hour. I mean, I could go in the bathroom and take a shit for an hour of that, and make a ton of money. you have to worry about patent infringement? Absolutely. There was a product that we did buy and that was a learning experience, and it was, thankfully, we didn't get suspended or anything, but we bought a product that had a patent on it. It was just a blatant patent. It wasn't, we didn't know. And we got this email saying, blah, 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 stop selling our crap. Here's our patent number, law firm, blah. And then I'm like, yeah, you're going to scare me off. Well, sure as shit. Then Amazon comes on like 2 days later and like, hey, you gotta get this off, and tell us why it happened, how it happened. And it was no big deal. We ended up just pulling it down, and it wasn't that expensive a product, so we didn't really lose any money on it. And a partner of mine picked it all up, and he's just selling it on eBay and all that other stuff now. But when you're looking for a product, you want to go to patents.google.com. So if you're thinking of I'm going to try to think of something that actually exists, like a lightsaber chopstick, right? So if you want to do like a lightsaber chopstick, you got to worry about some of that crap, because you can't just make the likeness of a lightsaber and think that you're cool. You can't do that. Or if you're thinking of like a three-way scissors, I don't even know what that is, right? But if you come up with an idea of like a three-way scissors, and you've got to go on Google Patents and like type in, do a little search. You're going to see patents from all over the world. The only patent that you need to worry about is the United States. So if there's a Chinese patent, it doesn't matter. They have no recourse over here. It's U.S. patents. A violation of patents, there's not a single person in jail in the United States for violating a patent. It's not a legal law. It's a civil recourse. So if somebody catches me selling a patented product, they could sue me and win. So that's how patents work. But the cops aren't going to come to my door or anything like that. You guys remember hoverboards? That was like the big goddamn thing. They were burning houses down all over the world. That had a patent on it. Some dude in California owned the patent on that. But he was just some dude. So he had no money to go sue like 8,000 people. So what he did is he sold the North American distribution rights to Razor. And Razor has billions of dollars, and they talked to Jeff Bezos, and like bam, right away, then all the now you can't buy hoverboards like that anymore, online, or not, at least on Amazon, because Razor owns the distribution rights to that. So yeah, you want to make sure you're not violating any patents. Don't worry about trademarks or anything like that, because that's usually the easy stuff. But patents is probably the big thing, because China will not give a shit. They will sell you anything that you ask them to. And that's it. Even my guy, he doesn't know our laws, and I can't expect him to know our laws, and it's not his job to know our laws. It's his job to sell me shit. So, and it's my job to buy it from him, but it's my legal responsibility and my, just my fiduciary responsibility to make sure that it can get into the United States legally, and I can get it in your hands, legally as well. Do you also need a freight forwarder for sea? For air, you don't really need a freight forwarder, because that, like DHL and UPS and FedEx, they will act as that role. So they'll get things cleared through customs and all that. So it's really simple, but it's super duper expensive. Our last thing, it would have cost us like $2,000 to ship it by air, but it was like $700 by sea. So that it's like, it's like a no-brainer. That's $1,300. I'm not going to walk by $1,300 on the road. So for 30 days, I'll do that. I'll wait for that. And it keeps my costs regulated then as well, so I can compete on, like a quarter difference can make it. That's selling something for $20.50 versus like selling it for like $19.97. Huge in the mental state of like a consumer. Which are the three most common mistakes people make in business? They overthink everything, they question everything, and they're afraid to do things. Have you or would you recommend using commingle inventory? Yeah, we commingle all our stuff. With us, we just throw the UPC on it. We don't do FN SKUs or anything like that. So it's real simple then. It just comes in here. The UPC is actually then on the product, and then we can go from there. Now, with this being said, I'm going to go back to Austin's thing. And this is important for everybody. The rules have changed on UPCs, that Amazon now wants GS1 like coded or whatever UPC. So all these people that you're buying them from on eBay for like $1 or something, pennies on the dollar, don't do it anymore. For people that are making up their UPC, you don't do what the hell you want to do. You're just you're putting yourself at a liability that's going to potentially remove you from Amazon. And if you want to do it's super, super simple to just not do the wrong thing. Like, I've spent my whole life not going to prison. I spent my whole life not getting sued. Like, I've never been kicked off eBay or Amazon because it's really simple. And everybody always tries to shortcut shit because you want to save a nickel. And you saving that money is going to put you at a potential financial discourse. Like, if Amazon shut us down for some stupid, how dumb would I be? Like, I'm promising this woman here this wonderful lifestyle, and because I'm too cheap to buy like a legit UPC, I'm going to sacrifice all that. Forget about it. So GS1 US.gov, I believe, is where you want to be getting your UPCs for anything that's straight up that you're RAing and OAing. You're good to go because that stuff's already all regulated and registered. Bundles, you can be exempt from using UPCs on bundled items if you get permission from Amazon. So stop using fake ones for that and get permission to not have to worry about that stuff. But so everything else, this is, and myself included, we're gonna have to get all this GS1 crap, and it's like it can be pretty expensive if you get a bunch of them. We're probably just gonna start off at like the 250 level at $50 a year. That's not horrible. But what that allows us to do is just leave our UPCs on the product, get that sent to Amazon so it can just get dispersed through all the different distribution centers a little bit easier. But two, I'm big time, right? I want this shit sold in Targets and Kmart's and every other store that's not going to go under as Amazon continues to grow. I want people to be able to buy that stuff at Toys R Us and just everywhere, like Home Depot, Bath and Body Works, so I want to have a legit UPC because I'm not going to launch anything just to try to pay my car note. I'm going to, as sure as I know I'm going to die. And we have a blank check, not a blank check. It's a written check upstairs in our to-do list with a $1 million check dated for January 1st, 2018. And I will videotape that day when we cash our own damn check out of our own bank account to do that, because it's big time, man. You got it. If you're going to do it big. How would you recommend using commingle? So I just talked about that. You don't have to use commingle if you don't want to. Here's the scare tactic that people will tell you. Everybody's got the hearsay. Like, everybody knows the guy that knows the guy that got suspended for sneezing the wrong way in Amazon or something like that. And so the scare tactic is that you could have a hijacker, somebody that hops on your listing, commingles his inventory as well, that when it gets to Amazon, people are buying a combination of your and his, and that when they finally get kicked off, that when that inventory gets pulled, they could be pulling back some of your inventory and some of the counterfeit stuff could be selling. Well, that's bullshit because Amazon, even when you commingle things, they still track all of your inventory. Or say you're selling iPads, well, then the other scare tactic of that is, well, if I send in my iPad and somebody sends in some crappy ass iPad that's just got a rock in there and I get the bad review, well, I'm going to get in trouble. Well, again, that's crap because Amazon still tracks who that commingled inventory came from. I don't know how or why, or Jeff Bezos, he's got robots thinking for him half the damn time, and so you don't have to worry about that stuff. It just makes it easier. If it gets it into the hands of your customers, don't you want things to sell faster? So for me, I'm gonna commingle as much as I possibly can, and that's just me. Do what the hell you want to do, but that, as far as me and this business, we're commingling. When you say opening a new store, do you have different Amazon products for your PL products? No, I have partners. So we have three partners, including our. So we have our store, and we're working with a guy, and we didn't want to have his products in our store, so he opened up a store. We have an LLC where my company owns half of his company, right? So it's our company owns half of his company, and Amazon doesn't really like people having multiple accounts. So the EIN is in that business name, right? And I have user permissions to access that account. So then that's kosher by Amazon standards. So it's not like 8 people in here logging in on one IP, and and we don't sell competing products or anything like that. We're not doubling up on products. We have different product lines. So then that's what happens. So I when I log into my account, then at the top left corner, I can just toggle between the stores, which makes it really super simple to track. There goes the next PL products. What about Speedy Barcodes? Speedy Barcodes used to be okay. They still might be okay. They got to figure their crap out. But with Speedy Barcodes, they're charging $5, whatever per barcode. If you bought a bunch of them, it would be down to $1. But before they came out with the annual renewal, Speedy Barcodes bought a shit ton of like barcodes that they were then reselling. So those used to be okay. But you have to have them recode those like UPCs like recoded for you. So I'm going to talk with them. Actually, that's on my to-do list to talk with them this coming week, because I got to get that figured out. If not, then I'll have to just brand register my stuff and just do away with the UPCs in the interim. Is the GS1 help with battle hijackers? No, not really, because all they can do is then it's coming from the manufacturer, right? So like all they have to do is just put the same UPC on there and send it in. So you have to then prove that there's still a counterfeit item, you know. So I mean that's it. So but maybe they can, you know, and how and why Amazon's pretty good getting hijackers off. The best thing that you can do is make sure that you have your product. Because I'll tell you this, we've hopped on listings when some people have had like listings where they just had it's like this. They called it the coaster. And we're like, oh, well, shit, we'll buy a bunch of coasters and sell it on the same thing. And all Amazon cares about is what the person buys. Is it this? Is it this thing? You know? And that's why, like, you know, like people that do like liquidations and stuff like that, they can get away with selling new stuff, even though it's been technically a store return, because as far as Amazon's concerned, is the box good? Is it what they have pictured? Is that new? So for PL, what we were doing is we were like initially hopping on listings of OEM products, and we sold a ton of them, but then you get like stupid sellers, so then we backed out of that and just started branding everything. But yeah, the best way to get rid of hijackers is to make sure that your product is branded, logoed, and it's visibly displayed on the product, because if they don't do that, or if they do, usually the Chinese hijackers will send in OEM stuff. So we've had that. We had a guy, and he sent in like he was gone in like a day, but he was attempting to sell. So he only made 2 sales, and that was me, where I bought them. And the product came in, and it was not our product, didn't have our brand on it, so it was really easy to make that claim with Amazon. So we actually ended up trademarking that as well, because then if you would have continued to do that, now there's financial recourse. Now I'm not going to go sue a guy in China, but at least it's just an added value step to get people off of a product, you know, from a PL standpoint. They use SN. I don't know what that means. I work at Amazon, and I know how that works. Oh, well, that's good to know. Did I miss questions? God, you guys got me all worked up. It's like 9:30 at night. Getting all excited. Am I using a prep company for OA, RA? No. What I'll probably Dixon, what do you mean by a serial number? This should be about PL, but I'll answer that OA question. No. When we get to that point, it's going to be way more affordable for us to just rent out a warehouse space and hire some kid for like $10 an hour or something like that, as opposed to paying like $1. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of prep centers in general, because almost every prep center is an actual Amazon seller. And so it's like, why I'm gonna pay you money to give you my sources? Like that shit doesn't make sense to me. Like it doesn't, like it's a, because I would like, that's a good business model. Why don't you start up a prep center exclusively for PL people, and then you know what sells and what doesn't sell. Yeah, there you go. I just gave you a $1 million idea, you know, right there. Serial numbers. Okay, so I'll get that, but that's okay. You're welcome, Barry. Do you have them print? Oh, I talked about that before, Brandon. We have Amazon label everything. We don't do FNSKUs. We just do the UPCs, and then we just have them put that on the package itself, and then that's what we do. Look at JC's bald head. I see JC's bald head. All right. Any other questions? So estimated cost to get a product from concept all the way to Amazon. Let's say $2 manufacturer for that. John, that's there's no, you can't. There's no. It doesn't work. It depends. Like for us, we look for lightweight products. We look for lightweight products of high perceived value, right? So I'm trying to think. Like, so let's say I wanted to like have a wallet, like a wallet RFID, like coded wallet or some crap like that. I want to find something that like is affordable enough that still is like real leather or what have you, and then buy enough of them to have it at an affordable cost. So you can't like what you can do though from a budget standpoint is you can go in like there is no granted while I go after the like the impulse buys. Amazon, people sell things for like hundreds of dollars that sell every single. Look at computers. Like people they'll drop like $2,000, $3,000 on something. It is that they actually want. So you figure out your own budget, and once you have your own budget in mind, now you can go rework the numbers and figure out what the cost is. But there's this market out there of products that people just don't want to touch. That's why we are going to we're rocking this OA thing because we get into a price point that people don't want to get into. And as a result of that, we're able to like flip these things and make like $30, $40 a pop and what have you, as opposed to like, just trying to trickle down with everything else, and we're also looking at volume too, on top of it. I came in late. Did you cover your reviews? It's an Amazon group. Sohail, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Top quality reviewers. It's run by a woman named Bridget Williams, I believe it is. And here's why I love this group, because this chick is an asshole. Like she runs that like group. Like she kicks people out. Like you talk about Amazon suspensions, man. You do the wrong thing in that group, and she just booted out like 200 people. She has like 3,000 people in her group now. She's probably booted out more than 3,000 people at this point, which I like. And she's very on top of Amazon's rules. So when the rules change, she communicates that effectively, because as of recent, Amazon, they don't like reviewers much anymore. Like, so now you have to put like disclaimers on the bottom of it saying I've received this product at a discount by unbiased review or whatever. And they've also started removing the verified tags. Now, most of this shit, buyers don't care about, so sellers get all freaked out about it. But if people are also reviewing too soon or the same seller too much, those reviews won't even, not only will they not count, they won't even appear. So you essentially just gave your product away, virtually for free, which is just stupid. So what she does is like when we do, like we're in the midst of like we just did 2 launches. We're doing 2 more launches. We have yet another 2 coming in, up here. At one more coming up. How that works then is we don't expect to see these reviews for probably about 2 weeks. And sellers give her a hard time on that, but she's doing it for their best interest. So because she just runs that tight ship, I don't want to go to anyone else, because I want to make sure that if I'm, getting reviews, I'm getting like, top quality reviews, and there is a cost to that. It's like $35 for like 100 reviews. And you're not buying reviews, you're buying she has it phrased some way that's like Amazon compliant. And believe you me, like anything that I do, like Amazon will never kick me off, because like some things I'll ask like groups for, but a lot of times, I don't ask questions because I talk to Amazon. Like I ask Amazon. Believe it or not, you can have Amazon call you. Like you can just type in your phone number and they will call you, and then you talk to somebody and you ask their question, and if they don't know it, they'll go get the answer for you, and if that person can't get it, they'll email you later. So that's how I read the terms of service. Like I read it. Like I want to make sure that anything I'm doing, like before I hear from anybody, I want to make sure what it really is, and there's some things that are odd, like new, listing something new. Like everybody says it has to be like pristine quality, but it never says that in new. It says that in used like new. Which is I don't get, so like if something has a little bit of a dent, send that crap in new, let the customer deal with it. Unless it's like Legos or something like that, where it's like where somebody might collect it and they want to pride themselves on that. But if it's like a printer package or something, like, who gives a shit, But either way, that's not PL related at all. Are you looking? No, I don't sell anything oversized at all. I have a love affair with printers. so yes, I do. I guess I do sell. Yeah, I don't do any RA. Here's how I do RA. There's a couple people that call me actually. Like I have a guy that lives in my apartment that gets stuff. I don't ask him how. I don't want to know how. And he just gets stuff, and he'll call me. I'm like, yeah, I got this computer. You want to buy it? And then I just buy it. And people like, so people know that, I guess. Yeah, I do OA manually. So I sat there for like a day, and I just grinded out OA. Like I was determined. I was just, when I get something in my head, like Becky knows, it just has to be like, it becomes an obsession. Like because I have ADHD, which is probably the best quality I've ever had in life. If you don't have ADHD, I advise you to like get it. Like just get it. Eat a lot of sugar or something like that, or just start freaking out and get hyper. It's a tremendous tool because with a symptom of ADHD is hyper focusing. So I spent probably like that first week, I just dove in deep, and now I'm at a point where I found these little niche avenues where I just call them. I have an active working relationship now with people where I just call and they let me know what they got, and I let them know what I want, and everybody's happy. And that's like, that ain't me just going on Walmart, and I'm not going to tell you how I did that, because that just defeats the purpose of it all. And someone will figure it out, and then when they figure it out, then I'll move on to the next thing. Sharks always got to swim. I just bought a big ass printer and a projector. I was going to sell it MF. Man, I don't do anything MF. Like every time I hear somebody bitch about something, it's because they sent it in themselves. And now they got to deal with the review, and they don't know how to do. I don't know. Like, you think I'm going to do customer service? Like you think that's going to happen? Like, there's no way. So I pay Amazon to do my customer service, so when somebody messages me, they get a nice little quaint response that like, go back and go talk to Amazon, like you call them and they'll take care of it for you. So I don't issue refunds. We did that initially. Like we were kissing ass big time, somebody to get a return and they didn't like it. We're like, oh, we'll give you a free item. And at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. You just give away crap for free that nobody else knew about. So it's like, I just lost money then, yeah, no, there's no customer service coming out, especially for the people, man. I used to sell cell phones back in the day at Verizon Wireless, and it takes a special kind of person to like come into a store with some of these issues that they have, where it's like you couldn't just power on your own phone. You realize you have to charge it to get it to work. Either way, that's like 15 years ago. It's a whole different life. Yeah, what other questions we have? But what I like about going back to the OA is that's still that point that I still have is you got to figure your own method. Because here's something that you're gonna hate me saying. It doesn't matter what course you get. It doesn't matter what you attempt to do. If you cannot develop a business mentality around this, you will not make it. It just won't. And that's why people are looking for these shortcuts. They want to find the most automated thing, because they don't want to think. They don't want to wrap their mind around like business opportunities. Amazon could shut down tomorrow, and I'm picking up the phone and I'm getting on the next opportunity, because that's just how I roll. I'm my own backup plan, and you that's how you have to. Man, you just got to be that way. I can't. Yeah, you can use any color poly bag you want. Any color, pink. As a matter of fact, Galis, you're going to be the pink poly bag person from here on out. Amazon doesn't care about the color of the poly bag. So what they care about is making sure that the label is visible and scannable on the outside of the poly bag. Yeah, there you go. You use purple. You can be the rainbow poly bag person. You know what you should do? That's a market. There's your $1 billion PL. You sell purple poly bags to PL people. You can send me a check for that later, a royalty. Do you have everything sent to your house? Yeah, I have everything. It's a day of chaos. So everything will come all at once, and there's like a shit ton of boxes in here. and then I break everything down. I count through it, and I separate it, get it all prepared to be sent off to Amazon, and then I have UPS pick it up from my house the next day. Love the UPS guy. You know, so he'll come. You know, we live on a third story. You know, so I don't expect him to come up. So I have him text or call me if he's in a rush. And what I'll do is we have a hand cart, and I'll start bringing the boxes down to him, and then we load it up on the, you know, and then he's a cool guy. You know, we shoot the shit. We give him product samples and stuff like that. So so he knows, like, you know, so he's like, that's talking about real world experience from a reviewer. Like, here's this. Tell me how it works. You know, and I'm gonna be sad because he's gonna retire in 3 years. Anyways, I have a product made by nature. How do I label it with no UPC? I don't know, like, I don't really know, like a cup of piss. I don't know what you mean, David. But if you have a product that cannot have, like, if you're selling a piece of toast, I guess, like some toast of the Virgin Mary or something like that, you can't like have a UPC on that. So you can contact Amazon and you can have an exception made where you can't have a UPC on that, and they'll waive that. So, and then they'll give you, I think, what's called a GTIN number or something like that, and then you put that on there. You know how I learned that? I read the terms of service, and I asked Amazon. But anyway, I can pay you back for something. David is selling cannabis. Yeah, you don't want to sell pot just yet. When things come in cases, does Amazon have you break cases down to send to different warehouses? So when we have stuff in, like, we have what's called master cases sent to us. So we'll have, and Amazon does not like master cases. So when a master case is a box that then has other smaller boxes inside of them. So if those boxes are of substantial size, and usually they are, we'll just slap the labels on them and send it out. But yeah, Amazon wants us to send them to different warehouses, which is what I want, because the more it comes, we have a distribution center. I live in Milwaukee, Oak Creek. There's a Kenosha has a distribution center, Amazon. We've sent tens of thousands of products in. We have yet to ship to Kenosha. And I know there's some of you that will be like, why can't I just deliver it and drop it? Well, here's why. Because Amazon knows your product, and they want to get it in the hands of, believe it or not, Amazon wants you to sell. They want you to sell, and they want to get it in the hands of the consumer as quick as possible. So if they want me to send something to, like, California, I'm going to send it to California. If they're going to have me, it's pennies on the dollar. Like, we just ship, that's like, how many, what did we do? Like $20, I think, to, like, ship, like, well, I don't even know. It's probably close to like 100 pounds of stuff. That's like it's so cheap. It's like, I think our cost like goes 80 cents a pound, and you can't do that. Name me any other. You can't do that anywhere. I don't book scout. I'm not even gonna. No, I'm not book scouting. I'm not. I don't scout. I don't want to leave my house to do this business, like, at all. Like, at all. Like OA, I'm cool with PL. Like, that, we're gonna just continue to crush it in that. But I don't want to, like, no. The only time I'll do RA is we go to Target, and we're just happen to be shopping, and then, like, women, right? They can't just go to Target and get shit. So she's off looking at a million other things, and I'll go run over to, like, the electronics section or the toy section. And I remember, like, one time I saw, like, these Legos. I'm like, so I bought some Legos, and that's probably the extent of, like, my RA. Everything else is just, I got a couple people I got a guy that gets webcams, and he'll just call me when he gets webcam. I don't know how I don't care. He just gets these brand new webcams, and the other guy gets, like, computers and TVs, and he just calls me. And it works for everybody, because then, like, I don't know how he's getting them, and I buy them. So he's making money, I'm making money, and then, Amazon people. Amazon's making money. Customers getting a product at a good value. So you mean there's a master case that comes with 20 other cases? Oh yeah. So JC, like, what will happen is, like, say I order like 480 of something. So they'll put 480 in one box, but within that one box, there might be like 24 in smaller boxes, or 60, or I can't remember. You get it. So there's boxes inside of boxes. Oh, David, whatever you're doing, also with talking about that nature stuff, if it is like, I know you're being all nondescript about it, but you want to be careful, like, about anything in that, like Amazon's sensitive with certain things, you know, that, you know, you can't, like, you just can't, you might initially get away with selling it, but then, you know, you don't, there's a million products out there. Just sell coasters. sell you know, sell something. And I miss a question. Let me scroll back up. How do you figure things out? Like, especially, okay, that's a good question. So when I left, all my retirement savings. I was a financial planner, so all my retirement savings is in this wacky concept called whole life insurance. So it's like I didn't really have like an IRA rollover or anything like that. I just have this like ridiculously huge life insurance policy on me that I'll use as retirement income if I live or if I die. That redhead is going to be wearing diamonds for the rest of her life. As far as healthcare is concerned, I'm just Obamacare. Like I went on the exchange and I pay like through Molina Healthcare. It's like what is it? 300? Yeah. I'm like 300 and she's like 275 a month or something like that. And it's, I don't know. I haven't used it yet. I hardly ever go to the doctor. I'm not political by any means, but like, to hell with Obamacare. but I like the dude, but the hell with the healthcare. Because it's, I don't know, I don't never go to the doctor, so I don't feel like either way. You're looking at a merch, yes. We do have we outsourced, so we signed up for Roots isn't doing that. We have another guy doing that, and I'm not telling you who he is because he's my guy. But we did sign up for merch, got approved, and we have another guy doing our designs for us. So they approved us for 25 designs. We have 2 up right now, so we're going to get like probably 23 up this next week. What's different with merch is I don't like t-shirts, you know. So merch is actually kind of cool. You get approved, you come up with a design, like it's all these stupid t-shirts everywhere, you know, it's like with skull and crossbones and don't you dare take away my Second Amendment rights, you know. So you can buy a shirt like that for like, you know, $20, and Amazon will take care of it all. They'll make the t-shirt, print it, ship it out, and they'll give you $8 for it, you know. You can price it how you want, but we definitely did it. They're overwhelmed. So their approval, you know, I think the only reason we even got approved was probably just because we've been doing this here for a year, so we have like an established type of account with them. But what's different about merch is that you can't do pay-per-click advertising, and I'm not going to give away. I don't think you can do giveaways on that. I haven't played around with it enough yet. But you can do outside marketing, so we'll be doing Facebook marketing for that. What company? There's only one. It's gs1us.gov, I think it is. And that's the UPC. That's where you get your UPC codes. Now, 2 days ago, I would have told you speedy barcodes, but things change, so you got to adapt. Where else are we? Well, it's 8 more minutes, so we'll wrap this up here at the hour. So. It's cheat day, so I'm doing Taco Bell tonight. That's right. That is right. Charles knows about cheat day. All right, no questions here. Let me scroll back up. All right, all this money and you still eat Taco Bell, man. Hey, you know, Taco Bell's the shit. When we want a quick grab for like $5 and a bunch of good eats, man, that's where else am I gonna go at 10 o'clock at night? Expecting the No, there's no Brandon. I don't like. I'm not like. I am adamant. I even got on Charles a little bit like a month ago or so ago or whatever. When he was like, you when he gets his shit together, he'll figure a way to monetize the group in an ethical way. So I don't have to get all over him. But for me, I don't intend on I don't sell anything. Like my market like somebody like people have helped me. You know what I mean? Like people have helped me in my life. So it's like, I don't know, like one, I selfishly, I like being the guy that knows every damn thing. You know, so from a selfish aspect, I know everything, and I like people letting people know that I know everything. But two, it's like I feel good. Like I really helped. Like my inbox is like filled with two types of people. You're an asshole, or thank you very much for assisting me. Because regardless of how I come across, at no point would I ever tell anybody anything that would put them in a wrong situation. Like it's just not that's just not who I am, It's just not, So love me or hate me, but you listen to me and you can get rich too. What do you think about the Colombian factories? I don't know anything about Colombian factories. That's our task for this year. Is we've already opened an account in the UK. And we got to get like VAT registered yet and all that other stuff. And then we're gonna do Canada next. We're gonna hit everywhere. I mean, there's like 10 or 12 different countries that you can sell on. So we want to like hit them all eventually. Especially like the ones like India. Like everybody thinks like India is like this impoverished nation, but man, they're gonna be they're gonna be a big powerhouse here in the next like 5 to 10 years. So the global market, when you look at like, we do not currently sell in the UK other than we were selling candles when we first started. Oh, I did forget about that. Fine, here's a good. I'll talk about that a different day. But anyways, we're selling candles, and what the hell with it. If there's a niche store in your area, like a niche store that is a factory outlet, money. That is money. So hit that up, and even if you got to drive 2 hours, it's money. And we were selling that stuff out in Europe on the global export program that Facebook had or Amazon had. Do I write our own? Yeah. That's one of my talents is writing, so I'm pretty good at that. I hate it. So what I do is I just copy everybody else's. I don't copy it. I just look at the top sellers, their keywords, and all that stuff, and then I just rewrite it. And I do a combination of like the top 4 because obviously their keywords got them to where they're going to be. So then I use the same thing. So I don't get fancy with it. I don't do HTML because it's not allowed. It's just prancing. but anyway, so yeah, I guess I write my own listings. I keep it just very short, very to the point, because nobody really reads that crap. Think about when you buy on Amazon. You're not reading every single word. You look at the picture, you look at the price, you look at maybe a couple reviews. You look at the negatives to see if it like pertains to you or not, and then you're like, okay, that's not. And then you look at some of the positives and some in between, and then you make your purchase decision quick. And then you use the buy box, right? You click the buy, and then you want it the same day. The global market is, I think it's good. Like the UK is about a sixth of the sales of the U.S. So if you're going to do like $1 million in sales, you can then anticipate like a sixth of that, and it did. So it's like another 200,000 or something like that, 150,000 coming from the UK, and then Canada is even less than that, but Canada is still getting on board with that too. If you mean global export, yeah, we sign up for global export. Global export, you don't have to pay for it. So what global export does is it allows other people outside of, this is from my understanding, so I could be dead wrong in this, but if you're like living in like London and you want to buy something out of the US, you can if you want to pay the extra $20 to get it shipped over, you can do that. And then and not every product qualifies for that program. Yeah, it's probably that's probably right. Canadians, they're just I don't know, maybe in bigger markets, but I bet you they're coming around. Apparently they have better internet than the United States and stuff. Yeah, I don't know anything about eBay. Yeah, my only extent of selling on eBay is Joe Lister. I sold like 10 years ago, but that was way before like how things are now. eBay is just like I don't know. I just got such a bad taste in my mouth with all this drop shipping crap now and all that stuff. And then we're so I don't know what is EAU. What is EUA or whatever? Like is that the United Emirates or whatever? How do you sell to them? Like on Amazon or something? Good for you. Them dudes got money, man. No joke. No joke. They have ATMs that spit out gold bars. That's legit. These dudes like bronze their kids. Gold plate get a gold plated haircut in Abu Dhabi or whatever. Dubai. It's almost too much money. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it. Everyone's got their aspirations. If you want a 10,000 square foot garage with every single car imaginable, then God bless. All right, we're digressing. I'd love to talk with you, Gaius, on that, but we're digressing. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice. All right, so here's what I'll do. I'll put together a list of the people that I utilize, like my freight forwarder. I'm not gonna. There's the proprietary people you ain't getting. You're not getting some. But yeah, I'll send a list out to that. If you feel free, I'll say this. Feel free to hit me up. I do usually answer most of everybody, but I don't get there. It's just not. I spend probably like it drives her nuts because I spend like an hour a day just helping people out, and I enjoy it. You know. I'm not going to do this. I'm probably not going to do this again. This will be recorded because what else am I going to say? There's only so much to say. You know, like if I was going to do anything more, I would just create extra fluff, and then we'll call it some stupid name, and then we'd charge you $199. So we don't want to do that. So what I'd rather have is lay out a foundation for you, and then you can build your own empire from. There's so much money to be made here. Like that's my final thought. There ain't no saturation in this crap. As a matter of fact, like PL is probably I was talking to a buddy of mine in North Carolina. He's an Amazon seller, and we're like right now is like the best time to get into private labeling, because like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when your product has like 10,000 reviews, and some dude wants to like now compete against you, like you got that made, man. Like you're so entrenched. You know, in this, you know, other companies might be calling you up to like want to sell their products. Amazon might be calling you to want to buy your product to then sell themselves. You know, so there's just no saturation doesn't work because like if like I open up a restaurant I talked about this in this group. Like if I open up a restaurant like tomorrow, right? I'm not making up new food. I'm not gonna like invent a carrot burger and like mystical powdered water. You know, I'm grilling burgers and you're drinking beer, and that's what's happening. And you know what? The guy down the block is doing the same thing, and the guy down the block from him is doing the same thing. So what's different is just the marketing aspect. I private labeled my own restaurant essentially, and that's so you can do this. So there's no such thing. You know, as long as you have a good brand and good quality, and you might lose on some of these things, but in all, you'll do all right. The biggest question is, will you make money? And if you do make money, how fast will you make it? Because I'm convinced everything will sell on Amazon. There's literally shit. Like type in poop in Amazon. And then go to Alibaba and type in poop. You can sell poop on Amazon. So everything sells. And it's high ranking. There's like some dude that's making a killing selling fake shit. So you can't tell me like nothing – like doesn't sell and there's things aren't saturated. Everything sells. The question is how long will it take to sell and how much money will you make on it? And stop trying to be the top guy, be the middle guy, and then duplicate that and go get 100 products. And I guess we can wrap this thing up. So I'll unmute this and give it back to Charles, and I'll see you guys in the group.
You guys hear me okay? Check 1, 2.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Dude, Shawn, thank you for your time. That was killer. I took down some notes, one of which is there's probably going to be like 5,000 to 10,000 people on YouTube that see this thing. So I can imagine there's going to be spiking coasters and three-way scissors is one of the things I found on that. But aside from that, that was simply awesome. I know we're personally working on a few of our first PL products, so I took a lot out of this. I've looked up to Shawn since actually I found him in another group in my very first week, almost 6 months ago. So it's kind of cool to watch some of the top sellers come in here, share their knowledge. My goal is to now provide guest speakers on these future calls, so you guys can learn from different aspects, different people, take what you want from them and run with it. But it's crazy everything you're talking about, especially with the mindset stuff. Like you said, we have the exact same mindset with that stuff. I did another call called developing the entrepreneur mindset. And we basically touch base on the exact same thing. So thank you for reiterating that, because it's very, very common in any type of business field. So many people, I've gotten tons of messages over the last couple of years. I built my other business in the health and fitness field is, oh, I see the pictures of you posting about your family time and blah, 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 the free time you have now. How do you do it? And the honest reaction I give now is most people are going to quit because they don't have that mindset. You can have the business tools. Shawn can give you his exact product, his exact steps, his guys he talked about. He can give you all of that. Most of you won't do shit with it. Most of us won't, because it takes the mindset first. This is your foundation. So like he mentioned, 4-Hour Work Week, you probably saw me giving a fist bump on that one because that was a phenomenal book. Same thing that changed my life. On top of that, you probably read this one, is Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Those two books are friggin' awesome. That gave me an idea for our Freebie Fridays. We'll be giving out some of those books. But aside from that, we're going to go ahead and cut this thing off. This is recorded. It's on YouTube. So if you have any PL questions, come back, watch this video again, take notes, because I can promise the further you get into PL, the more you'll take out of this video coming back and watch it, because you'll connect with different things. So thank you guys for participating. Thank you for the late night that you guys put in. Huge thanks to Shawn for the time that he put into this. Like you said, there's a certain level of just, you can't even explain it, just reward you get from providing free value. That's the background I came from. That's why I connect with this group so much, is just because we're all here to help each other out. So it pumps me up. I've learned a ton from Shawn. I'm developing that stronger mentality as we go along in here. So you guys have an awesome night. Thanks again. Peace out. This has been Chaz, Shawn. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys soon.